There we go. What's up, everybody? I got one side on, and unfortunately, here it's about to pour down on me. One of these days, I'll get me a shop. That's another thing I've been saying for years and years and years, but I procrastinate because really all I got is my lean-to. I procrastinated until I built it. I had leftover lumber, and I threw that thing up in like probably 4 or 5 hours. So that's pretty much where I park at. Not really a lot of room to work in there. I could maybe change the oil, just because you can lean this back all the way, which is another good thing I love about the beds. Because on the sports side by sides, and I'm going to veer off topic like always, the sports side by sides, you don't really get this. I mean, you can get in here and you can sit down. I'm sitting down actually with my back against the bed, and it's quite comfortable. I mean, even if you wanted to change the oil, you just reach down, Anyways, I love that feature because putting these rear mounts on right here, I wasn't hunched over for 10 minutes fighting the bolts and then stand up and feel like a damn frozen U-joint or something. Y'all know what I mean. And then down here, I got lucky. My homemade mud flaps, all I had to do, let me see if I can get you in here, I'm sorry, is cut a notch, top and bottom, just for my bar to go in. So for anybody interested in buying and installing some of these things are super easy. The only thing that took me the time was, of course, because my rig wasn't clean first. And all the holes that you got to use, mine were packed full of sand and mud. But it literally bolts there, bolts here. Everything bolts to the frame. And right here, and I've harped in the past saying that Polaris accessories are, they're kind of really on the expensive side. But I'm really starting to eat my words here lately, because every freaking Polaris accessory I've bought has been exact fit right out of the box, every piece of hardware you need, and it's already been thought of on these machines. So under here, there's a little piece of plastic hiding where you mount it. Let's see if I can get you under there. So if you see right there is where it mounts up to, and there's a little bracket that goes on top of the frame. I'll show you real quick. I might as well. That way people, if y'all want to buy them. So this goes on top of the frame like that. And there's holes in the bottom of the frame and in the top of the frame. So basically, yes, it's a boxed frame, and this is basically an L bracket that sits on top of the frame, and your screws go through it. But this would be facing outside. So it's almost like it boxes it in again. Like, I would have never known. Yeah, I know. I got my mechanics, drink of choice. It is New Year's, so. But yeah, you cut this little thing out right here, and this is what I was talking about, like places you never can really get to cleaning. There's a hole in there, I promise you. There it is, right there. But I mean, I cleaned it out. I just blew it out with air compressed or a compressed air, and then sprayed the hole out with like some carb cleaner. It's not threaded. You have to put a nut on the back side back here, which to me is, it's fine. Technically, the only factory bolt that you use is this one. The bolt down there is aftermarket, of course. And these right here, let me tell you, you better make sure you got a whole set of these Allen heads, or whatever you want to call it. They're not torque bits. So make sure you got a set of those, because those were fun. Luckily, I had one. But yeah, after you bolt here, you got a nice little cap that goes in there. Got a little, I guess that's to pull it back out, or maybe to drain. But I mean, all in all, and it's not right up against it. So say you were to hit something, there's a little play for that to flex in and out, like a little cushion area. You can adjust it out right here if you want. I just adjusted mine in, just so it wasn't sticking out and like catch, I guess you could say. But yeah, let me get you a, which you've already seen it before. Let me get you a before. There's a before. And I mean, this thing's pretty beefy. Like, I took a pretty large rubber mallet and just smacked it to see if, see if I could hear any creaks or like resonating, like it's vibrating, which I haven't drove it yet. So I haven't really done the vibration test, because I don't care what machine you drive. They all have that, I guess, that unstable engine vibration, because they're either inline twin cylinders or they're V-twins. I think the Yamaha's a V-twin, and from what I gather, the Yamahas kind of shake a lot, but anything is going to have a residual vibration. When you've got all this stuff packed into a compact unit, you're going to get squeaks and squeals and funky vibration sounds. Like, I'm already getting like a heat shield sound. I'm pretty sure it's this one right here. It's like it's resonating, if that makes any sense, but who cares? When you got the radio turned all the way up and you're running 50 miles an hour through the woods, that's the last thing you're going to hear. But yeah, here's the other side. Clean finish. I mean, I'm actually glad I didn't clean it first, because you could actually see. I mean, even the finish is pretty solid. It's like a matte finish. Now I am going to repaint them. I'm going to repaint my wheels and my bumper, which I've already repainted my wheels once, but they don't look like it. I used like a textured paint, just like you could. A lot of people use it to spray their wrought iron. Is it wrought iron or wrought iron? Wrought iron, wrought. Either way, the old black iron furniture. So either that, or I may just put a little bed liner. I got a can of that textured bed liner and put on them. But yeah, protection's good. I mean, you get rock guard there. It does cover quite a bit underneath there, and I do actually like this. I do like that there is now added protection behind here, for throwing large items in there. Or I've seen it happen where people get a rock wedged in between the front or the back, like you're playing around on loose rocks, and a big enough rock, gets either sucked up in this direction or comes around and lodges in here. If you did that and didn't know it, you would rip all that. I mean, that plastic would just rip. That stuff's not that thick anyways. This is you have to cut a hole out here like you seen on the other side. I mean, it's probably about as thick as the factory skid plate, but with a fresh razor knife and scoring it, I think it says to use a hole saw, but I don't really trust saws and hole saws on plastic, because it only takes 1 freaking second to screw up. So I just scored it a couple of times, and just basically pulled it right out of there, just like a plug. But otherwise, another accessory. I mean, if y'all are on the fence on getting them, I would get it, because it never hurts to add protection. Because this is about as far, besides my doors, other than my doors, these new tires and rock sliders, and like the fun accessories I've put on, like the radio and stuff, or the lights, the whip, I'm not going to be doing too much more to